Hello everyone, my name is Reman. I'm a French physiotherapist and I will present you a cross-sectional study about intravaginal pressure profile during two diaphragmatic aspiration tasks in women with stress urinary incontinence. I want to thank the ICS Scientific Committee for allowing me to present my work. I have no disclosure. So pelvic floor muscle training is recommended as a first-line treatment for women with stress urinary incontinence. Recently, some approaches based on diaphragmatic aspiration and specific posture, as you can see on figures, have been proposed as alternative to pelvic floor muscle training for SUE treatment. Scientific literature showed that pelvic floor muscle function have a direct impact on stress urinary incontinence, and it can be studied by measuring intravaginal pressure profile with a FemFit, a new intravaginal probe for measuring intravaginal and intra-abdominal pressure. So the aim of this study was to compare intravaginal pressure profile in women with SUE during three tasks: pelvic floor muscle maximal voluntary contraction, diaphragmatic aspiration alone, and diaphragmatic aspiration with a specific body posture. 23 participants were recruited for this cross-sectional study. Of these, 6 were excluded. The remaining 17 participants were evaluated. Each participant began a learning phase by watching a 5-minute video made by a physio with expertise on the three tasks evaluated. The FemFit was then inserted into the participant vagina and the measurement phase began in the standing position. The participant was asked to perform 3 pelvic floor muscle maximal voluntary contractions, followed by 3 diaphragmatic aspirations alone and 3 diaphragmatic aspirations associated with a posture. Of the 17 participants evaluated, we couldn't use the data of 6 subjects due to technical difficulties. The results of 11 participants were fully analyzed. From this data, 4 outcomes were extracted: rest pressure value, then maximal peak of pressure value, delta pressure, and then maximal peak of pressure location on the 8 FemFit sensors. Data extraction showed 3 different intravaginal pressure profiles. So on each figure, you can see at the top the uterus, then the vagina below. The medium graph inside each vagina represents the 8 FemFit sensors with the pressure distribution along the vagina cavity. At the left of the graph, we have lower pressure values than the baseline, and at the right side, we have higher pressure values than the baseline. In red, we can see maximal peak of pressure delta. So we can see a bigger peak of pressure during pelvic floor muscle maximal voluntary contraction than diaphragmatic aspiration alone and with posture. It is confirmed by a Wilcoxon test, which shows significant difference between pelvic floor muscle maximal voluntary contraction and the other tasks, but no significant difference between diaphragmatic aspiration and diaphragmatic aspiration with posture. Regarding the location of the peak, it varies between sensor 6 and 3, and the Friedman test doesn't reveal a significant difference between the three tasks. Regarding to the resting value, we only found a significant difference comparing to pelvic floor muscle maximal voluntary contraction pressure values confirmed by a Wilcoxon test. So it's the first study which compared diaphragmatic aspiration alone and with posture to pelvic floor muscle maximal voluntary contraction regarding to intravaginal pressure distribution along the vagina. Methodological limitations are present. This study has a small sample size. The tasks were not randomized due to difficulty of carrying out some tasks. We didn't measure thoracic expansion during diaphragmatic aspiration to validate it, so it could be interesting to do it in the next study. And some of variables not tested for reliability, like location of peak pressure. In conclusion, we can say that diaphragmatic aspiration alone or with a posture doesn't appear to produce significant pelvic floor muscle contraction. Posture doesn't appear to affect results, and regarding to the number of exclusion, Diaphragmatic aspiration seems to be a hard technique to execute for patients, so adding a biofeedback could be interesting when physiotherapists use it. Thank you very much.